Hello, everyone. I'm Sean.
Is it soon?
We are the Courageour Frights, back again with another movie review. And this time we're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home
Yes.
because I finally saw it.
Yeah, we got a chance to see it. Everyone got a chance to see it finally.
Yes. Yeah. When did you see it? You saw it.
It was like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago.
Okay.
It was pretty close when it actually came out in theater. Like when it first came out here in the United States, that is.
Yeah. And I saw it on Friday, so like 2 days ago, because Japan just got it. That was opening day. So yeah, I finally saw it. Got to see it in a typical Japanese movie theater in dead silence.
Dead silence with apparently extremely good popcorn, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know if it actually is good, or is it actually good? People say it is.
It's popcorn.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's like supposed to be like it's extremely good popcorn or something.
Tastes the same. At least in Aomori, it's not extremely good. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It doesn't have like the caramel salt or
they do have that. There's if you get the regular popcorn, it's just regular popcorn. But there is a half and half where you can get like half of it's like this caramel type stuff and then half of it's regular.
Oh, okay. So they actually have like a variety. So it's like a pizza there.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because there's like a divider in the middle so that it doesn't mix together.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, that is pretty good. But I didn't get that this time. I was just trying to get there. I left early to get there, and it took me an hour and a half to drive there. It usually takes me like 20 minutes because the roads were so bad.
Oh, jeez.
I live like in the northernmost part of Japan, other than Hokkaido. It's the northern tip of Honshu, and we get like the most snow of any city in the world or something.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. The viewers, if you look up Aomori on like CNN or something, all it has is articles about the snowiest city in the world and a bunch of pictures of dump trucks dumping snow in the ocean.
Yeah. I guess if you get that much snow, I guess they have to do something with it. But
right, yeah, they don't do great snow removal here. So this is completely off topic, but they don't salt roads at all here. So it's basically just like driving through a snowdrift. It's ridiculous.
There we go.
They're out here with like actual construction equipment because they don't have dedicated snow plows.
Oh, there you go.
It's the snowiest place on earth, but they're out here with bulldozers like Bob the Builder.
There we go. Bulldozers and excavators.
It's so bad. But anyway, I did manage to see Spider-Man No Way Home. Finally. So
there we go.
We can talk about the movie.
Yes.
So first off, what was your opinion of this film?
I thought they did a pretty decent job, especially I guess it's the spoilers and stuff like that, especially with them using the villains from the other movies and also the Spider-Man from the other movies. I thought they did a pretty decent job actually balancing that out. Right. And giving those other characters kind of like their screen time that they, I guess, deserve in a movie like this.
Yeah, that's one thing I did really like about this was that they weren't just cameos. Like all of them had some like substantial screen time.
Yeah.
Which that was my fear when I first heard that they were going to be in the movie, or the rumor, because this has been leaked for like a year, that at least the Spider-Men were going to be in it. Spider-Mans were going to be in it. Andrew Garfield was out there in every interview denying it for the whole year.
Yeah.
That's what we learned, is that Andrew Garfield is a chronic liar. Yeah. Should never be trusted with anything.
Nothing. He just lies about everything.
He's an habitual liar.
Yeah. Every time.
I'm gonna never trust anything Andrew Garfield ever says again.
Yeah.
But no, he had to, or Kevin Feige would have shot his dog or something. So.
Probably threw him into a vat of radioactive spiders in real life.
Make him actually Spider-Man in real life.
Yeah.
Although with Tom Holland, I'm actually shocked Tom Holland's didn't like spoil this at some point.
Yeah, that is surprising. I'm sure they probably kept like a pretty short leash for him.
Yeah, because
Because he likes to spoil things all the time.
him and Mark Ruffalo are notorious for spoiling everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, they actually kept the secrets unless you were really into the leaks and stuff. Like, we knew this was going to happen because we cover movie news. But if you're not sitting around watching Nerd Vengers or whatever talk about every leak on the Marvel universe every day, you wouldn't know that they were in the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done. Like the average person probably was totally surprised when
when
they showed up.
2 different Spider-Man from the Sony universe coming over there.
Right. And I would imagine if I had a responsive audience, there was probably a lot of emotion coming from the audience when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showed up.
Yeah, because I know when I went to watch it, people were like cheering in the theater.
Right. Yeah.
Like cheering.
Mine, there was slight audible gasp when Andrew Garfield showed up.
Oh, there you go. That's actually pretty.
It was pretty eventful for a Japanese audience.
Eventful.
There was like 2 guys in the back. They were like,
there you go.
That was it. And then Tobey Maguire showed up, and there was like crickets in the background.
Like who?
Exactly. I don't think half the people in the audience knew who Tobey Maguire was.
Which is kind of weird because it's like, because I guess. Yeah, not there. Like when I watched it, people were cheering for both of them. But it's like no one knows who Tobey Maguire, especially the Tobey Maguire movies, is the one that like kind of shot off Spider-Man.
Right. I also kind of think that none of the memes landed at all, because
I'm sure.
I mean, they're not translated properly too. There's that.
Yeah.
Because the most iconic line of the film, "I'm something of a scientist myself," was just translated in Japanese as like, "I'm a scientist."
I'm a scientist. Yeah.
That's not really, doesn't have quite the same catch to it. So it doesn't quite the same ring to it.
Yeah. I'm something of a scientist myself. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't think "I'm a scientist" is going to become a meme.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some translation failures.
Yes.
But overall, yeah, I would agree with your points. It did a really good job of bringing everybody together. Great, like, ensemble film where you bring in people from all of the past films and not like crap all over the previous movies.
Yeah. And that's one good thing about is Marvel does it again with the way with handling ensemble casts.
Right.
They're like a master at this point. It's like, it's weird. It's like I don't think have they actually screwed up an ensemble movie yet, Marvel wise.
I don't think so. I haven't seen, well, it's not an ensemble movie, but I haven't seen Eternals. I heard that was kind of bad, but every other Marvel movie is at least somewhat good. Like, I haven't seen one that was like a terrible movie.
Yeah, and Eternals, at least I haven't seen it either, but I was hearing some people that say it's very mixed.
Yeah.
Like some people hate it and some people like it, and it's like really strange.
Right. But other than that, I think that's their most divisive movie so far. But
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Everything else has landed pretty good, and their ensemble things have been insane. Like the Avengers movies.
Avengers. I guess Avengers.
Yeah, Spider-Man. This was amazing.
Even like Thor and stuff. When you have a big cast of characters, they seem to do a really decent job.
Yeah, like Ragnarok was pretty good.
Yeah, getting their characters their screen time, and being a good movie, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Doctor Strange, but
yeah, that's another. I guess we'll get into that one.
We'll get into that too. Yeah, but that looks good. Yeah, so I really liked it. I got a few nitpicks, but we'll get to that too. So we're gonna go through and talk about what happens in the movie, I guess. Obviously, spoilers.
Yeah.
And but you had your chance.
Yeah, you had your chance.
If I saw this movie, you definitely have seen this movie.
Yeah. You had your chance at caramel popcorn.
Yes. I did, but I passed up the chance.
Yes, there you go.
All right. So we're going to talk about the plot. So how does this movie start? Do you remember?
If I remember correctly, I guess it started with Jameson saying that you're Spider-Man, wasn't it? That
pretty
Peter
much.
Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, it goes back to Far From
basically.
Home.
Yeah, Far From, or
where it's
yeah,
the second one. Far From Home, where Quentin Beck, who's Mysterio, like reveals to the world that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So, and then of course J. Jonah Jameson kind of like gives it a signal boost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So he's out there telling everybody
4K 2080p video
in the middle of Times Square, so that everybody thinks Peter's a murderer.
Yeah.
And they're all like hounding MJ because she's just right in the middle of the street. So then he grabs MJ and they go swinging off against her will.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then he drops her off on top of like a crane for like a building under construction.
Yeah, I know. That's like the most dangerous place.
It's like the worst place to leave her. And then Ned calls and they just have that amazing conversation where it's like, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then MJ's like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And then he swings through a subway with her and almost gets her killed there too.
Yeah. It's like the most dangerous thing in existence.
He's just constantly trying to murder his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they get our first. Well, they eventually end up getting taken in for questioning.
Yeah.
And
they go back to their apartment.
Yeah, they go back to the apartment. We find out that Aunt May broke up with Happy.
Yeah.
But Happy still keeps showing up anyway.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm here. Whatever.
And so yeah, the police come and they arrest everybody, take them in for questioning.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get our first major cameo, big ensemble thing, one that everybody forgets, I think. And we see that Daredevil exists.
Oh yeah, universe. That's right. And he's like, I'm the best lawyer there is, or something.
Yeah. I thought that was cool. That's
the same actor from the Netflix show, isn't it?
Yeah. And you probably haven't seen Hawkeye.
I haven't seen Hawkeye.
So I'm not going to spoil, but there's a connection to Daredevil in the Hawkeye show too.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if they're the same people. Like, they might be a J. Jonah Jameson situation where it's the same actor, but they may not have the shared history they had before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if the events that take place in the Netflix show happen in the MCU, but they are bringing back Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, which in itself cool. is funny. It's almost like an in-joke because aside from Tobey Maguire, all of the heroes are British actors.
Yeah, there you go.
In this movie, everybody every New York superhero is a British dude. Because
a British actor.
We have two Spider-Men that are British. Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are both British.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, and Charlie Cox is also English. And he's Daredevil.
Great.
There was a meme floating around. It was on Instagram or something. It was like everybody's got these British accents, and then Toby's just standing there, and then Benedict's like, Toby, are you all right? He takes his mask off. He's like, why is everyone British?
Yeah. Well, yeah, why is everyone British?
He just ended up in the multiversal version of New York City where everyone's British.
That's why they need Captain Britain or whatever that guy's name is.
They need Captain Britain. They need Henry Cavill as Captain Britain.
Yes.
They need to save him from the DCEU.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, Daredevil shows up. And it's kind of funny because I guess he got Spider-Man off, but Happy's still potentially facing charges.
Yeah, I know. He's like, oh, you gotta get a good lawyer.
He's like, you gotta get a good lawyer. And then somebody throws a brick through Peter's window, and Matt catches it.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man or Peter's like, how'd you do that? And he's like, I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool that they give us a hint at Daredevil. It's like more for the fans, I guess, of the just general Marvel fans or the Netflix show fans, because we don't actually get Daredevil in the movie. We just get Matt Murdock as a blind lawyer.
Yeah, the blind lawyer.
But they hint at it, like obviously hint at it, because he catches a brick that goes flying through his window.
When he's a blind guy and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me grab this brick out of midair."
Now we never find out who threw a brick with that much velocity through a 5th-story window.
Yeah, I know. That's another supervillain or whatever.
Yeah, who the hell threw that brick? Was it Bullseye?
It probably was.
But yeah, I don't know who threw that brick, but somebody's got one hell of an arm.
Yeah, they need to be. They're probably a super villain or something. Gotta break people's houses.
So this is where we get to pretty much the main plot of the film. Is they're all trying to get into MIT for college.
Yeah,
and they keep getting rejected from all different colleges, and they get rejected from MIT because all of them do, MJ, Ned, and Peter, and it's because of their association with Peter, because of controversy or whatever.
Yeah, so they don't want to have too controversial people at their school, I guess.
Right. Although they let Flash in.
Yeah, I know.
Who's going around. His whole thing is he keeps going around trying to tell everybody that he's Spider-Man's best friend, and it's like, I think I'd keep quiet about that, because
especially when like MIT's just kicked you out of, or kicked 3 people out of school
because they know Peter Parker. It's like his actual friends have been barred from MIT, and then this guy got in, and he's going around telling everybody he's best friends with. He writes a book.
Yeah, I know.
Flashpoint, which has got to be a
that's
jab at DC.
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny. And then Peter comes up with an brilliant idea on how to solve the problem. What is Peter's brilliant idea?
He's going to make everyone forget that he's Peter Parker by using magic.
Yes.
Namely, Doctor Strange's magic.
He just strolls into the Sanctum Sanctorum and is like, you got to make everybody forget who I am.
So that people can go to college.
So I can go to college. And Steven's hesitant about this for like 10 seconds, and he's not.
He's like, "Oh, I'll help you."
We find out that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme,
which makes sense because
it's also technicality. Because
Benedict Cumberbatch, or Doctor Strange, he was blipped out of existence.
Yeah, on technicality, on account that he was dead for 5 years.
Yeah.
So Wong is now in charge, but he doesn't give a shit. So he leaves.
Like, I'm leaving. Like,
he actually doesn't care. The trailer makes it seem like he's like, "Don't, that spell is far too dangerous. Don't do it while I'm gone," or whatever. In the movie, he's just like, "Do whatever you want. I'm on vacation."
Yeah, he's just like, "Just don't get me involved."
He doesn't care in the movie. He's just like,
"Don't get me involved. I'm going. Whatever."
Yeah, he's like, "Whatever you do here, that's on you."
Yeah.
So he just leaves, and then Strange does the spell, but Spider-Man keeps interrupting him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I got to make everybody forget who I am. What, everybody? But what about MJ? And then he's like, fine, she can remember who you are. What about Ned? What's a Ned?
Yeah, what's a Ned? How about Aunt May?
What about Aunt May? And then it breaks the spell.
Yeah, because it's like in the middle of him casting this elaborate spell, he's just like taking parts out.
Yeah. So it shatters the spell, and then what happens is, I guess, the story is that it pulls people from other universes into ours who know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Which there's some continuity.
There's some problems with that, and we'll get to that when they start introducing people. But this is my own personal theory, because it doesn't truly explain how that happens, and they even say it should be impossible.
Yeah.
Because they say the multiverse is something we know frighteningly little about.
Yeah, because there's like that fight scene that Spider-Man and Doctor Strange have.
But my theory is that, how's this possible? I think it connects to Loki without even saying it does. because I don't think this would have happened except for the fact that Loki and Sylvie like tore open the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the Loki show. But they tear open the multiverse, and I think obviously Doctor Strange, no one would be aware of
no
that.
one knows about that.
Only the TVA knows about that. So no one would know about it. So then Doctor Strange unknowingly casts this spell, and then it pulls people across the multiverse because there isn't really a multiverse now. It's just open.
Yeah.
So, and they don't know that yet. And I'm thinking they may reveal that in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that's how this happened.
Is Loki supposed to be in Multiverse of Madness? Or
I heard he was, but I don't know if there's been a confirmation on that.
Yeah, because it's gonna be weird. It's like, how are they gonna get someone? They're gonna have someone that knows that the multiverse is now crumbled away.
Right.
Yeah, branches everywhere.
And that's my theory also.
Be able to explain it.
That's also my theory about Wanda seeing her or hearing her children.
Yeah, maybe that might be it.
Because in our universe, in WandaVision, Westview or whatever, her children weren't real.
Yeah.
They were just like a manifestation of her mind. But at the end, she hears her children coming from like another universe or something.
Yeah.
And it could be an alternate universe where they are actually real people.
Yeah.
And that might be what she was honing in on. And again, was only possible because Loki tore through the multiverse.
That's when we get the X-Men to show up.
That's a big rumor actually for
yeah, I remember
Multiverse of
seeing that
Madness.
rumor.
Yeah. Because if people don't know, in the comics, Wanda's actually the daughter of Magneto, I believe.
Yeah.
So she's technically an X-Men, but they couldn't call them X-Men because of copyright issues. But now they own Fox, so now they can do X-Men.
They bought the X-Men.
Yes. Pretty much, because that's the only thing they wanted from Fox, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically Peter screws up the spell. And then he gets a hold of Flash. And he finds out...
He asks where the MIT person is. Or
right, the admissions...
Because that was that line where Dr. Strange's like, did you just... Like, you didn't call them and ask them?
Yeah.
Before you came here and made me do this dangerous spell?
Yeah. Yeah, we find out that Peter just went right to Doctor Strange and didn't actually call the school to try to
fix it.
Talk to them about it.
He's like, don't bother me again.
So he finds out that the MIT administrator who's in charge of admissions is like on her way to the airport. And Peter tracks down her car. And he finds her and he's trying to convince her to let MJ and Ned in at least.
Yeah.
And while that's happening, all of a sudden this big commotion happens on the bridge. And this is the scene was really famous. Every YouTuber kept making fun of it because it was literally the entire trailer for like every trailer was just a bridge fight.
Yeah.
Which is actually genius marketing because they didn't spoil anything then. But so the villain is Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, Dr. Octopus shows up.
It's played by Alfred Molina, another British guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Who, spoilers, we'll get to it anyway, who switches sides and joins the good guys because he's going to join Team Britain.
Pretty much.
But so it's Dr. Octopus from the Tobey Maguire universe.
Yeah.
And there's a big fight with Spider-Man. It's a pretty cool fight.
And he's like, "Oh, you're not." Like he takes his mask off. He's like, "You're not Spider-Man."
Yeah, he's like, "You're not Peter Parker." And then he tries to like kill him or whatever, but then the nanomachines that are in his suit take over control of Dr. Octopus's tentacles.
Yeah, because he took. I don't know what he did. He took something off of. Did he just take the nanomachines? Like, how did he even take the nanomachines off, or is that just?
I don't remember.
Like, did Peter Parker give it to him, like let him?
I just know that he synced it like you do with like a Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because I remember he like grabbed his chest with his claw, and then his arm turned into like Spider-Man arm.
Yeah,
but it like ripped off his suit. It was like really weird. It's like I don't know.
Right. But then they paired the device like you would with like a Bluetooth or something.
Yeah, and then he because I'm controlling your suit now.
So then he controls it, and then they take him back to before they leave though. This is a continuity issue. Green Goblin shows up.
Yeah.
And Octavius, Dr. Octopus, is like, Osborn?
Yeah.
But no one knew that Norman Osborn was Green Goblin.
Yeah.
His son didn't even know that he was Green Goblin until Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So how did Octavius know?
Octavius would have been dead by this point.
Yeah. It was like, how did he know that Norman Osborn was Green Goblin?
Yeah.
So it's
the future.
Continuity issue number 1. But it's not. I have like minor nitpicks with this movie.
Yeah.
Like in all honesty, it's like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. Like it's
pretty high.
Damn near perfect. So anyway, they go in. I don't remember how they get back to the Santorum or whatever, but Strange has like prisons set up for all these.
Yeah, because they must have felt a disturbance in the force somewhere, and then he went to go fight. He went to go fight
Lizard
Man.
Yeah.
Like what is his name? I don't even know these guys' names. Like
Lizard? His name's
Reptile or something.
Reptile. No, the character is Lizard.
Is it Lizard? Okay.
Reptile's from Mortal Kombat.
Acid at Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Tried to eat his head. Lizard's Kurt Connors.
Yeah.
Is the person's name. And
I guess Doctor Strange must have beat him up and then made the prison cells.
Yes.
He made just enough prison cells too somehow.
He made exactly 5. Somehow he knew.
Yeah, he knew that he needed 5 prison cells
to capture all of Spider-Man's greatest villains, including a tree.
Yeah, I know. I like that part. He's like, what type of villain is this?
It's just a tree. That's when he tells them to Scooby-Doo this shit.
Yeah.
So they go, like Spider-Man goes out to go fight some of the other guys.
Yeah, because he's saying that they've had like I think that don't they say they had like a electrical spike or something?
Yeah.
At this one place, at like some military base or something like that.
Right. So yeah, they go out. Spider-Man goes out there and he ends up fighting
Electro.
Yeah. Electro, and then during the fight with Electro, Sandman shows up.
Yeah.
And Sandman appears and he's like, Spider-Man, remember me? I'm Flint Marko. I was in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm your best friend.
Yeah. He just kind of shows up and just yells that line.
Basically. He literally does say that, except for the I'm in Spider-Man 3 part. But everything else he literally says. And then Spider-Man's like, oh, okay, well then you can help me fight this guy.
They can help me fight this electric man.
So they both end up in the prison cells again.
Yeah. Cause he like has like magical was it like that magical web shooter or whatever?
Yeah, it's like a web shooter thing and teleport them right to a prison cell. And that's where they end up with the tree. Because he misses Electro and hits a tree, and then the tree ends up in the prison cell.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that we see Osborn in like an alley or something.
Yeah, because he's like he's like that happened in Spider-Man 1 where he's like grappling because I think he's supposed to be like a Jekyll and Hyde character, so
yeah,
he's like grappling with his other like the bad side, I guess, his like evil side, and he's like, I don't want to do this. Then he like see a sign for Peter Parker and Aunt May's like soup kitchen or something.
Yeah, I think
he comes stumbling in there.
Feast or something.
Yeah,
name of the soup kitchen. So he ends up going there, and then May calls him and says that one of the villains is at her soup kitchen.
Yeah.
And so Parker goes to the soup kitchen and he meets Norman.
Yeah.
And they go back to the Santorum. And I think that where Strange like puts him in the prison cell or something.
Yeah, I think he puts Norman in the prison cell, and then he's basically explaining that fate, you can't dictate fate or something.
Right.
Everyone there is fated to die, because they were like, I think they're talking about how like I had you in 2 seconds and then you would have been dead, and then it like I just don't remember.
Yeah, I know what happened to what next. Yeah, and Dr. Octopus said the same thing.
Yeah, and they're like, either fate, basically you're gonna die. I think that's what Doctor Strange is like. Everyone here dies.
Yeah.
So
Except they don't all die. The
yeah,
continuity issue
yeah,
because Sandman and Lizard didn't die.
yeah. That's true. They're not dead. They're in like prison.
Yeah. Sandman, I think, just floated away, and Lizard's in prison.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like I don't remember any of this. It's like, and then I think all the villains are like, we're gonna die. And I think in this part where Aunt May was like this is like a little bit before, with like Aunt May was telling Peter's like they may be horrible, but they should be able to be reformed, type of thing.
Right.
They should be able to reform. So he's like,
yeah, that's what gets Peter going on the plot to try to
help
them.
Yeah, because then I think Doctor Strange is like, I have this box, we got to fix this spell now because it's like like everything's falling apart because of it. And then we got to press this like spell deleter. I don't even know what that box was. It was like a spell deleter. If you press this button, everyone's going to go back to where they came from at that point of time, I guess.
Right. Yeah, which would be easy. That would be an easy fix, and it would have solved everything.
Yeah.
But this is where Peter's like, no, we can't do that. We have to cure the villains.
Yeah, cure the villains before they go back. That way they're not going to die when they go back in time.
And then it causes a fight between him and Strange.
Yeah, this is where they fight in like the Grand Canyon and stuff.
Yeah, which is a really cool fight. The coolest part, though, is when he like knocks him out of his body.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's body still moves without him in the body.
Yeah.
So it's like Spider-Man has Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Spidey sense to the max.
Yeah, he got to the where he has no control over his body, just does.
It just does, yeah. And there's actually a fan theory, and I think they might be right, that like Tom Holland's Spider-Man's always had limited spider senses.
Yeah.
His Peter Tingle or whatever.
Yeah, it's Peter Tingle.
And it's always been there, but it's always been limited compared to the other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But in this movie later on, he has like actual spider sense. Yeah. And a lot of people's fan theory or whatever is that was activated when Doctor Strange like knocked him out of his body.
Actually, that probably is right, I would imagine.
So then we get Doctor Strange does his stuff from like the first Doctor Strange movie where it turns into like Inception.
Yeah.
With the city like folding in on itself and they're like on a train floating in the sky for some reason.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man, how does he trap Strange in a mirror dimension? I don't remember.
I think he was like, this is a Pythagorean theorem or something. He said
something
about
yeah.
And then it's like, let me use geometry to kill you or something. Like, let me use a geometry.
Yeah, Spider-Man beats like, Doctor Strange with geometry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
He basically guts all that web and it kind of traps him into that like circle thing with the train.
Yeah. He gets stuck in a mirror dimension. And he steals his sling ring.
Yeah, he steals the sling ring.
They used to open portals.
Yeah. And he's like, and I guess their plan was, we got to reform these guys before Doctor Strange gets out of his mirror dimension, or however long that takes.
Yes. So they all go to Happy's apartment.
Yeah.
With all the villains.
Yeah.
And they managed to cure Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, because they said the reason why this chip is like inhibitor was fried, which actually that did happen in the second movie.
Yeah. And but then Osborn's like makes it seem like he's helping them because, as we've said before, he's something of a scientist himself.
Yeah.
So he seems like he's helping them, but actually he betrays them because the Goblin persona takes over.
Yeah.
And so then all the villains turn on Parker. I mean, except for Dr. Octopus. But the other ones all turn on him because Flint Marco's like, I'm Flint Marco. I'm Spider-Man's best friend. And then the next scene, he's like, I'm going to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, that didn't make any sense because he's like, why does it matter for Flint Marco?
Because he's going to take away his Sandman powers that he doesn't want to have anyway.
It's his face dust cloud that he does.
Yeah. Because all he wants to do is be with his daughter or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, wouldn't it be better to be like a normal human being
We
instead
could
of
just cure you and send you back. Like that's literally what Spider-Man wants to do is send him back.
yeah, heal him and then send them back. Be like, oh, you're not gonna be able to float around as a big face
Right?
of
You
sand.
can't be the mummy.
Yeah, he can't be the mummy
You
anymore.
can't just be like Emotep in the sand face.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
So
That one
anyway,
didn't make any sense. That was like the one out of all the villains, that was the one villain. It's like they're stretching it a little bit.
yeah,
They
right.
basically have him like being the Sandman, but he's like, who cares about Sandman?
And then the lizard's just in the van.
Yeah, he's just in the van.
They just left him unattended in the van.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Then he got antsy somehow and just like left. Everyone was like leaving and then he just
like
left.
I said, because you left him unattended in the van. Nothing was keeping him there.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, everyone's blowing stuff up. Let me just run out of here.
So he just got out and left. And I think J. Jonah Jameson's outside or something.
Yeah, because I think wasn't he trying to get like news to see where Peter Parker was at or
right.
something? Or...
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the helicopters throughout the movie are flying around like observing Peter Parker.
Trying to find Peter.
Yeah. So he gets a scoop that they're at Happy's apartment. So he shows up and then the lizard runs out of the van and he's like, is that a dinosaur?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so anyway, there's a big fight between Goblin and like Peter.
Yeah.
And
No Way Home Peter.
Yeah, well, so far our only Peter.
Yeah.
And Aunt May gets involved because she tries to use what she thinks is the antidote, but the antidote wasn't actually perfected.
Yeah, it wasn't worked right. He was like, it did nothing.
Yeah, she stabs Osborn in the neck, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, and then he throws like, I think he throws a pumpkin bomb or something, but well, the glider comes through and hits Aunt May.
Yeah.
And then he throws a pumpkin bomb and Spider-Man intervenes, is able to knock it away, but he gets hurt in the blast.
Yeah.
And then that's basically it for that fight. All the SWAT team and stuff comes in and surrounds the place.
Yeah.
And he tries to get Aunt May up, but then we realize that she's actually like pretty much got impaled when that glider came through. So she doesn't realize, I don't even think she realizes that she's that badly injured. She's just like on adrenaline.
Yeah, I think pretty sure.
Because she's trying to get Peter, she's acting like Peter is more badly injured and trying to get him out of there. And she tells him the infamous, with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
The Spider-Man line.
She said the thing.
Yeah, she said the thing.
And then she dies. So yes, they kill off Aunt May in this movie, which is
so there's no Aunt May's.
Something that's never happened to Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's no Uncle Ben or Aunt May.
Yeah, we're still, the jury's out whether there ever was an Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
but there's no Aunt May anymore. Which this scene actually did get to me because it was really well done.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. They did a pretty decent job on that one.
And Tom Holland's acting is also really good. But again, British actor.
Yeah.
Actually trained properly.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of emotional scenes with him.
Yeah.
And also with our other British Spider-Man as well.
Yes.
Once he shows up, he gets some emotional scenes as well. But anyway, they find MJ and Ned know what happened because I think they see on the news. And they're
like explosions and everything.
Yeah, I don't think they know exactly what happened. Like I don't think they know Aunt May's dead. I mean, they think maybe because they said one's dead.
Yeah.
There was one body recovered in the building, but I don't think they know who it is, but I think they kind of know. Probably like a gut feeling.
Don't they have like the film crew showing like Spider-Man talking to someone?
Yeah, so I think they kind of probably know. And like MJ's really worried about Peter, obviously. And Ned has the sling ring. He's just messing around with it. And
because he always talks about it like he knew he had magic in his body somewhere or something.
This is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But he's like, I wish I might.
Yeah.
The Pinocchio or whatever with Jiminy Cricket. But he wishes on a shooting star that Peter Parker that we could see Peter Parker. And somehow that's enough to open a portal.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Doctor Strange had to go through absolute hell to figure out how to open a portal. Like the elder or whatever abandoned him on the top of the Himalayas.
Yeah, like you got to figure it out.
It took him like months.
Yeah.
Ned's just like twitches his finger and all of a sudden the portal opens. Because there's some magic in him somehow.
Yeah, he's like, there's magic in him.
That turns into Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
There's magic in that hat somehow. And because his grandma said so. Because Filipinos are magic.
Yes, pretty much.
But anyway, whatever. He opens up a portal and there's a Spider-Man in an alley, and they tell him to come towards them. They're like, Peter, come towards us. So he runs through the portal and he takes his mask off, and it's Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm assuming if you're in a theater with people with a pulse, there was a reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my theater, there was, oh.
It's a gasp.
It was like
audible gasp.
One guy in the back went, oh. And everybody else is like, what?
And then my theater, everyone was like cheering in the theaters.
Yeah.
Like doing the wave and everything.
Doing the wave. Some guys just doing the worm in front of them.
Yeah, when the Spider-Man showed up.
They bring out like the New Year's poppers or firecrackers going off in the theater.
It's like, what is going on in here?
Andrew
showed up.
Andrew Garfield shows up. The Spider-Man everyone hated.
Yeah.
Everybody complains his movies suck. Andrew Garfield's the worst Spider-Man. And he shows up in this. And he actually gets to do a decent script.
Yeah, and he actually has pretty decent lines and everything.
Gets to do his decent lines, gets to show off his acting ability. And now there's freaking hashtags for Amazing Spider-Man 3 on Twitter and all this other shit. And it's like, so I don't know which one was your favorite Spider-Man or whatever, but I actually always liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
I've actually never seen Amazing Spider-Man, so I have
okay, that's fine. But
yeah,
I always thought he was the best Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like as an actor and stuff, and I always thought he got given crappy scripts.
Yeah, which is probably because it's a Sony film, so who knows?
At least the second. I actually really liked the first Amazing Spider-Man though, but second one is garbage. I definitely will admit.
Yeah, because of Electro and everyone else.
Yeah, and it's like weird, corny, like cheesy movie until it's not.
It's like Joel Schumacher movie,
right? Until it's not, because it's like a Joel Schumacher Batman movie, except for the end when Gwen Stacy dies.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like super dark. Like out of nowhere.
Yes.
But anyway, so yeah, Andrew Garfield, my favorite Spider-Man that everyone hated. Until now everybody's like, he's the greatest Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But anyway, he shows up and MJ's like, you're not Peter Parker. And he's like, yeah, I am.
Like, I'm Peter Parker.
And she's like, prove it. So then he like climbs up on the ceiling.
Yeah, he does, like, he's climbing on there, cleaning cobwebs and stuff.
Yeah, because he's like sticking to the ceiling, and then she's like, that doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
And then Ned's grandma's like, can you climb up there and get that cobweb?
He's like, okay. Yeah,
he's like, sure, fine. So he climbs up, wipes the cobweb, and then Ned opens up another portal. Because they want their Peter Parker. So show me Peter Parker. And some dude walks through.
Yeah, like some guy. I didn't even say this. Like, this just looks like a guy. Like a random guy.
Some guy walks through. And it turns out that, of course, it's Tobey Maguire.
Bully Maguire himself.
Bully Maguire shows up, which I'm sure that got a response.
Yeah.
My theater didn't even know who that was.
Yeah, like who's this?
There was like dead silence, crickets going in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, Toby shows up as Toby.
Yeah, as Tobey Maguire. He probably got to the set that day or something.
Yeah, he shows up in the clothes he wore to the set.
Yeah.
And then they get the Spider-Man shootout.
Yes.
Where Andrew and him do their web shootout. And Toby wins.
Yes.
Because Andrew's relegated to Peter 3.
Yeah.
Eventually they figure out they have to give each other names. So we never actually get the Peter Parker, Spider-Man in an alley pointing at each other's scene, although we should have.
I thought they were gonna do it in the classroom when they're doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're me.
They almost do, in a way. Because Ned calls out, he's like, Peter, and then they're like, we're all Peter.
that was the scene.
And then they're like, Peter Parker, and they all just look at each other and like, same.
We're
all Peter Parker. But we never actually get the pointing scene. So anyway, the Spider-Man, the two old Spider-Men, and MJ and Ned figure out where Peter is. They figure out he's on top of the school.
Yeah, because he's like, where's your happy place or something.
Right. And so there's a big emotional scene. Because like that's where they find out for sure that May died.
And they're always talking. This is where we start seeing like the divergence of Spider-Man, because he had Gwen Stacy's dead.
Yeah.
Him, and he talks about that there.
Right. Yeah, that's where we get that. And Andrew Garfield talks about how he lost Gwen, which is his MJ.
Yeah.
And then Toby's just like, Uncle Ben died.
Yeah, Uncle Ben died, and I was the one responsible for, which technically he was.
Yeah, basically.
He literally
until Flint Marko killed him in the third movie.
Yeah, that is true.
Because Flint Marko is the Spider-Man's best friend.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but Andrew talks about the Gwen Stacy stuff, and we get an interesting line here that I hope if we do get Amazing Spider-Man 3, I hope they do address this at some point.
Yeah.
Because we get to see that Andrew Garfield, despite having kind of his sort of goofy persona or whatever, he's easily the most damaged of all the Spider-Men. And he has a line where he says that after Gwen died, I tried to carry on the neighborhood Spider-Man thing because that's what she would have wanted. And he's like, but at a certain point, I stopped pulling my punches.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of implying that he's just going full on Ben Affleck, like Batman.
Yeah, Batman just
doing like vigilante justice, and he's probably just killing people.
Yeah.
And like, because he flat out says that he's like, I don't want you to become me.
Yeah.
So like which makes a lot of sense, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 is garbage, but Amazing Spider-Man 1 is almost like the Batman Begins of Spider-Man movies. Like, it's way darker than the Toby ones. And you could definitely see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like the only thing that was holding him together was Gwen.
Yeah.
So when Gwen dies, he just loses it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool that they talked about that. The one time they actually mentioned something that furthered the storyline for those characters.
Yeah.
Because that is one complaint I have. One complaint I have with this is that the Spider-Men seem to have been like frozen in time.
Yeah, pretty much. It does have that feeling. It's like, where'd you get these Spider-Man at?
It's like they didn't do anything after their movies.
Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, we're done.
Like, nothing of importance has happened since Spider-Man 3.
All villains are over with after that.
Right. So anyway, they eventually convince the regular Peter, Tom Holland, to go back to what the original plan was, what May wanted, which was to cure all the villains.
Yeah, cure them all. That way they come back where they're not like terrorizing everyone.
Right. So between having 3 Peter Parkers, they're able to come up with cures for all the villains.
Yeah, because they're all kind of like scientists. They're kind of like scientists themselves.
They're something of scientists themselves.
Yeah.
Especially Andrew. Like, I thought that was kind of cool. There's another cool thing about Andrew. Toby's just kind of there. Andrew's like got his lab coat on, and he's doing all these all the science stuff. He already cured Lizard once, so he knew how to do that. Although Toby does bring up the thing where he's been trying to cure Norman forever.
Yeah, because he's like, I was trying to fix that problem because that's like one of his greatest failures, I guess.
Yeah. So they do come up with cures for all of them.
Yeah.
And then they all team up, big fight at the end. They end up fighting outside the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Which, for some reason, they're putting a Captain America shield on.
They have like a Captain America sign on the, like a shield on the Statue of Liberty for some weird reason. It's like, okay.
But they end up luring all the villains there. So like all 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, because I think they say like Jameson, like Spider-Man's like, let me talk to Jameson or something.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
With his box, like, we have the box here, come and get it.
Right. So then, yeah, J. Jonah Jameson broadcasts it, and then they all show up to fight him.
Yeah.
And this is where we get that clip that was in the Brazilian trailer that everybody was freaking out about, where Lizard gets punched in the face by air. In this case, because the American trailer, the scene cuts.
Yeah.
The Brazilian trailer goes like 2 frames further, and we see Lizard get hit in the face by nothing. And it was Spider-Man, obviously. Everybody knew it was going to be one of the Spider-Man. One of the Spider-Man, I don't remember which one, does like an aerial drop kick onto his face.
Yeah.
And that's what that was. But yeah, the fight's really cool. And Electro nearly kills Andrew's Spider-Man. Like
he's like shooting electricity at him, like full blast electricity at him.
Yeah. They almost get killed by Electro until Dr. Octopus shows up and switches sides because he's
like, let me finish this. Then he grabs whatever that thing and
sticks it on. Yeah, that thing that dissipates his energy.
Yeah,
puts it on his chest because Alfred Molina needed to join Team Britain.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although Lizard's also British because that's a Welsh actor.
Yeah.
But anyway, that happens, and then they're trying to close. Our Ned and MJ are still in the school.
Yeah,
they're trying to close the portal.
Yeah, wasn't it like that? That was their thing. Like they're gonna throw the box to MJ and Ned.
Yeah.
So they could just be fighting here while they're like had it, but he doesn't know how to close the portal.
Yeah, Ned can't close the portal because I guess he's not magic enough.
Yeah.
He only can open them. He can't close them. So he can't close the portal, and then Lizard climbs up there. He sees them. He climbs up and runs in there. And there's kind of a cool scene where he's like running through the school, the lab or whatever, and then Spider-Man or Tom Holland Spider-Man jumps in there and is trying to fight him. And it actually kind of reminded me of the scene in Amazing Spider-Man 1 where Andrew Garfield's fighting Lizard in like a school library or something.
Oh, there you go. That probably is a call back to that, I'm sure.
So I thought that was kind of cool. And eventually they cure Lizard.
Yeah, because they like to have like a bomb or something that blows up like some fumes or something. He breathes in some weird fumes.
Right. They cures Lizard, and then they basically defeat them all. And then Green Goblin shows up. I don't know where the hell he was.
I think he was kind of like out there was watching, I guess.
Yeah, he shows up like last minute and then knocks MJ off the balcony or whatever.
Yeah.
Scaffolding. And then MJ's falling. Tom Holland jumps off the thing to try to save her, and then he gets knocked away by the glider.
Yeah.
And this is a huge callback to Gwen Stacy's death, where she fell off like a clock tower or whatever. And then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man tries to save her, and he does get her with the web, but then she hits the pavement at the bottom and dies. And then in this one, Andrew sees MJ falling, and he dives off the thing and just catches her without trying to like web sling her or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this part was really cool. Again, like I said, I'm big Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan. So I thought the redemption arc was really cool.
Yeah.
Him, where he got to save MJ, which was pretty neat. And then, like I said, Toby's kind of there.
Yeah, Toby's just
Andrew
Just doing stuff.
They have Andrew doing like all this stuff that to make up for the character and everything, and then Toby's just like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's all done. It's already over with.
Yeah. And because one of the problems I have with Toby's character is that it's a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Because he knows about all this stuff and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I know.
Like when they announced the lizard and they say Dr. Connors, like he should have had a reaction to that because he knew Dr. Connors. Kirk Connors is in Spider-Man 2. He's his professor.
Yeah.
And he's not at all surprised that he's a lizard man now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Okay.
He's like, yeah, I saw that coming. And like when Andrew mentions Gwen, like he doesn't say anything. Like he knew Gwen Stacy. That's what the whole Bully Maguire nonsense was about.
Yeah.
He was trying to cheat on MJ with Gwen Stacy all the time for some reason. Whatever that was about.
It's all about rent.
It's all about the rent. They should have had that guy. That was another missed opportunity. They should have had that dude be the landlord at the end.
Yeah, I should be like, rent.
Pay me rent.
They should have had him there, like Adam was there.
It's a free country. It's not rent-free country.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they should have had more. And the biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, was they didn't have Toby interact with J. Jonah Jameson because it's the same actor.
Yeah, they should have had him do that because he would have noticed who that was.
At the very least, have him see him on TV or something. There's nothing. There's no interaction between J.K. Simmons and Toby.
Yeah,
it was a little weird, but it's not like it destroys the movie or anything.
No,
but they could have done more with Toby, I think.
Yeah,
I was really happy what they did with Andrew, but they could have used Toby a little bit better, but whatever. And anyway, so they end up beating all the villains. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange comes back. He comes back out of that portal because Ned opens up a portal when he comes through.
Yeah, Doctor Strange's like, I was there for 6 hours.
It's 12 hours or some shit.
Yeah, it's like what's going on here?
Dangling from the Grand Canyon for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And they tell him that he's curing everybody, but then he's like, okay, but we need to get these guys out of here now because the sky's like ripping apart.
Yeah, the spell's like tearing apart like the fabric of reality here.
Basically, it's like everybody who's ever known Spider-Man, like in the comic books and stuff, is coming through.
Yeah.
Because it's not even villains we've seen in any movie. Because like Kraven the Hunter was there.
Yeah.
Whose
movie it had like Rhino. It should.
Yeah, it had Rhino. It had like real Rhino though. It wasn't the mechanical Russian one.
It was like actually like the comic book Rhino.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like it was almost tearing up. It was almost the comic book characters coming through.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. And they showed Kraven, which is funny because Kraven the Hunter is coming out soon.
There you go.
There's a Sony movie coming out for Kraven the Hunter with Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, as Kraven, which is strange because he was Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
But we'll be interested to see what they do with that character.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a Spider-Man in any of those movies, which one it is.
Yeah. I could see them probably, especially since how popular Andrew Garfield's becoming. Now. I'm sure they'll be like, oh, you want to just be the Spider-Man for this universe.
He makes the most sense. Like, if you want a Spider-Man in the Venomverse or the Morbius, whatever, Andrew Garfield makes the most
sense. Just put Andrew Garfield in there because it's like, okay.
There's actually a rumor floating around that he may be in Morbius because Morbius just got delayed like 4 months.
Oh, okay.
For some reason.
That's probably reshoots.
It was supposed to come out like January 28th or something, and now it's not coming out till May or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So that was really close to getting released. And rumor is that because Andrew's so popular now, they decided to do like reshoots and put him in the movie. But that's
just have him somewhere.
Purely speculation that hasn't been confirmed anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so all the villains get beat, and then except for Green Goblin's the last one. And then Tom Holland's Peter Parker obviously hates him because he killed May. So he just starts wailing on him like he's beating the shit out of Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And he's about to kill him. He picks up the glider and he's going to impale him with his glider. And then Toby intervenes.
He's like, don't.
He stops him. He's really going to kill him because Toby's like pushing back on it. And like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is actually like forcing him down.
Yeah.
So he was going full force on that. But Toby stops him. And then as a reward for saving his life, Green Goblin stabs him in the back.
Yeah, stabs him in the back.
And then, speaking of backs, we forgot my back. Oh, my back.
Yeah, he did that. He even had that scene there.
That scene was in there.
My back.
Because he's like talking about how his back always bothers him or whatever. And then Andrew cracks his back for him, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, you think Toby's dead because he just gets stabbed.
But
but then they do inject Green Goblin with the serum.
Yeah.
That like cures him, I guess. And then they go up to Toby and you think he's gonna die or something, and instead he's just like, it's fine, I've been stabbed before.
Yeah, I've been stabbed before.
It's like, okay. Doesn't mean you can't die from it, but all right.
Yeah.
And the rest of the movie, he's just getting propped up by Andrew pretty much.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm dying.
He's just holding them up because they have this heartfelt goodbye or whatever. They like hug it out.
Yeah.
And then Andrew's like, you're in so much pain right now, aren't you? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
But they find out that the only way to reverse it, since there's like thousands of villains coming through, two-dimensional comic book characters are coming through.
Yeah.
They say that they have to do the spell, but they got to do it the right way where no one can remember Peter Parker.
Yeah.
At all. And there's no exceptions this time, which means that Ned and MJ are going to forget who he is. And so are all the Avengers. Like everyone. Yeah. So they do that spell. And it causes everyone to forget who Peter is, but they all know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah, everyone knows who Spider-Man, just not Peter Parker.
They just don't know his identity. Which means that if he does choose to tell people, it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, I can be like, oh, I'm Spider-Man.
Because he can just prove that he's Spider-Man, and they'll be like, oh, okay. Because there's a scene at the end where he does think about telling MJ and Ned, because he goes to the like deli coffee shop or whatever that she works at, cafe, I guess. And he almost tells MJ, but instead he just stands there like a weirdo and stares at her for like 5 minutes.
He's like, and she's like, what's going on here? Like,
but she's not weirded out by it though.
Yeah.
Which kind of means that I think she kind of figured it out again.
Yeah.
Like may have an inkling, like some kind of inkling that there's something up with this guy.
Yeah.
Because she figured out that he was Spider-Man before he told her anyway.
Yeah.
So I think there might be something going on because he was being a real weirdo.
Yeah, that was like really weird, really strange.
And she didn't get that like weirded out by it, and she doesn't seem like the type that would give people opportunities to just stand there and gawk at her.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little weird. But he doesn't actually tell them because he sees the cut on her forehead, and then he remembers that like everybody who knows him dies. So like he doesn't want to put them in danger. So he thinks that it's better if they don't know that he's Spider-Man. But
just be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right. But they still remember all the time they spent with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it'd be super easy for him to just be like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man, by the way.
Yeah, I'm Spider-Man.
But he doesn't do that. And instead he goes to his crappy apartment, which I think is actually the apartment in the video game or something.
It does look like. I think it probably is, because I think they might have just took the video game apartment and put it in there.
Also, Tom Holland in an interview said that some of the fight scenes are like taken right out of the game too.
Oh, that makes sense then.
There's a couple like moves that they stole from the game.
I know that one dropkick move is one.
Yeah.
That's a move you can do.
Right. They did that in Batman vs. Superman too, pretty sure. Because Ben Affleck's warehouse fight is like almost right out of the Arkham games.
I'm sure.
But anyway, yeah, he has his crappy apartment, and But no one knows who he is. He doesn't have proof that he exists.
Yeah, I know. No one knows who Peter Parker is. Like 0 people know
He has
Peter Parker
books for his GED, so he never graduated college or high school.
So basically basically all that stuff disappears then. He's just like a ghost.
So how does he have an apartment then?
Yeah, I know.
He has no job, no money, no identity.
Yeah, he would have no money or anything. He would literally have nothing.
So who leased him an apartment?
The rent guy is like, oh yeah, you have some rent.
It should have been that guy.
Should have been like, rent.
Pay me rent.
Pay me rent, and I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Because I figure like some Eastern European, like Russian landlord or something, you could just pay under the table and he wouldn't bother with like identification or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
This makes perfect sense. He should have been there. But anyway, yeah, pay me rent. And that's basically how the movie ends, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like, Spider-Man's screwed.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing is, like, I know I've heard a rumor about it, this being the final Spider-Man, but do you think this is the final Tom Holland Spider-Man or no?
I'm going to say no, because Amy Pascal, who's, like, the president of Sony or whatever, basically said there's a trilogy of Tom Holland Spider-Man movies coming after this. Like the week before the movie came out.
Great.
And then Sony's like, that's not true. And then like
that's
a week later, yeah, basically. And then a week later, they're like, maybe it's true.
Yeah. Great. Could it be a Marvel thing or is it going to be something else? Because I don't, did the contract still go on? Or like, is their contract still going on? Or is it just like, it's like
where it stands now, I think.
Yeah.
It may have lapsed at this point. It may have lapsed, or maybe one more.
One more movie.
Because what they were doing was trade-offs. They had a deal going where I guess this was the deal they worked out when originally Sony took Tom Holland out of the MCU.
Yeah.
And then he got drunk and cried to Kevin Feige on the phone about it.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Feige like got into an argument with Sony. And they're like, what are you doing to my boy?
Yeah.
And they brought him back. And I guess the deal that they worked out was they trade off. So like Sony gives you Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Then you give us an MCU character. Because this is actually a Sony movie.
Yeah, I remember it says Sony everywhere on there.
This is a Sony movie. The only connection to the MCU is Doctor Strange. That was their trade-off. They got.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, because we give you Spider-Man for the Avengers. We get one MCU guy of our choice. We choose Doctor Strange.
Which was a pretty good choice, at least.
Right, yeah. So this is like, I don't know the division on it, but it's definitely a Sony movie. I don't know if it's like 80-20 Sony or Marvel or whatever. I don't know. But they definitely both worked on it together.
Yeah.
And we'll see what they do with this. But it does open up some really cool stuff in the future, though, because this fixes a problem that a lot of people had with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which was that he's too OP because he just gets everything handed to him by Stark.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, here's all the stuff.
Now he has nothing. He has less now than any Spider-Man has ever had because he doesn't even have Aunt May.
Yeah, he doesn't even have, like, a identity.
No, he doesn't have anything. And he doesn't even have his diploma from high school. Yeah, he's like trying to study for his GED now. So yeah, he's in a bad situation.
That's another thing. Like, how's he gonna do that? Because they're gonna be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
we need your social security number. Oh
yeah, he's like, I don't have one. But yeah, that's gonna be awkward. I think they're just gonna glance over that.
Yeah, probably in the future.
Right. And the last scene of the movie is actually him swinging with the new Spider-Man costume, which is just ordinary fabric that he sewed together.
So it's like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where he just made his own costume.
Right. Except for he's still got to do his web shooters, I guess. But
yeah,
we forgot about that too. They do address several times. They address that Tobey Maguire makes his own web fluid.
Yeah, in his body. You
gotta say it like Andrew Garfield too. It's like, you make your own webbing in your body.
Yeah.
it's such a weird delivery when he says that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I do.
And then Toby's like, can we not talk about this?
Yeah.
It's like, I
That
feel
was
like
pretty good.
you guys are making fun of me.
Yeah, I do like how they had like they're playing off each other, Spider-Man.
And that scene, by the way, that was the Andrew Garfield leak that happened like 4 months ago, where there was footage of him in the Spider-Man costume leaning on scaffolding.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the audio. It was Tim asking about web block, is what it was.
Oh, is that what it was?
Andrew Garfield was all over like the Tonight Show or whatever, saying that was Photoshop.
It's that Photoshop.
It's like, great. And then it turned out it's not, because again, he's an habitual liar. He can't be trusted.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's how Spider-Man No Way Home ends. But we get, because this is Marvel, we get post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And it's Tom Hardy, Venom, in a bar. And he's talking to the guy that owns the place, I guess. Bartender,
like
or
Mexico
whatever.
or something.
Yeah, wherever the hell he's at. And he's just like interrogating him about like everything that's happened in the MCU, because he's just finding out about aliens and Thanos and like all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden something happens, because Venom he stands up, and then we get scenes only in this thing that Venom can be like, "We are drunk."
Yeah, we are drunk.
But then he gets pulled through the multiverse again. So I haven't seen Venom 2, but I know what the end post-credit scene is. Post-credit scene, if people haven't seen, spoiler, I guess, for Venom 2. Although it doesn't matter. At the very end, Tom Hardy gets pulled through by something into the MCU.
Yeah.
Because he comes through and he sees like Tom Holland on TV. Actually sees the reveal that Peter Parker is Spider-Man or whatever that this movie starts with. And he's like, I don't know what any of that is. And then this movie, he gets pulled back out. He gets ripped back out of the MCU. So he spent like a day in the MCU.
Yeah.
But it leaves the symbiote behind. So there's like a piece of Venom left behind.
Yeah, which that one doesn't make any sense either.
So I'm assuming Sony was like, okay, we're going to give you Tom Hardy as Venom. And MCU was like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll take Venom, but you can keep Tom Hardy.
Yeah, you can keep Tom Hardy. We'll take Venom.
We'll take the symbiote so we can make somebody else Venom, but maybe they'll try to, maybe that'll try to infect Tom Holland or something, because Venom was really fascinated with going after Spider-Man.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that could possibly, because there has been a black suit Spider-Man before.
Are we gonna get Bully Holland?
Yeah, Bully Holland
in Spider-Man 4.
I'm gonna throw dirt in your eyes.
We gotta get a Bully Holland.
He's gonna go to Flash Gordon and be like, or Flash and be like, I'm gonna throw dirt in your eyes. Maybe we'll have Flash Gordon there too.
Just open it up.
Yeah, just everything.
Just everything. Why stop with Marvel?
You have why stop with Marvel? You have like, was that the other all those
other
characters?
DC into it. Somebody has to save the DC universe.
Yeah. Bring them, which they have been there before.
That's true. There's Godzilla too. There's Godzilla Marvel
versus Charles Barkley.
Well, yeah, too, but Godzilla,
basketball match.
Godzilla did fight the Avengers in the 70s or something.
Yeah.
So you could do that too, even though that's another Warner Brothers property, although might not be in the future if they keep pissing off Legendary.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I kind of wonder where they would go with this after that, because I guess if they do that, would they have their own version of Dr. Octopus, or is that like the version of Dr. Octopus is that one?
I have no idea.
Or do we have these other characters, I guess Spider-Man characters?
Right.
Because they've already used Vulture, which like I don't even really know too many Spider-Man villains. I guess Hydra is another one.
Although speaking of Vulture, Vulture's in Morbius somehow.
Oh, is
so like, what the hell is Morbius? Like, is Morbius in the MCU? Or is it in the Venomverse? Where the hell is that?
Maybe he's in both.
Like that's confusing.
Like, is it like the Spider-Man Morbius or Spider-Man Vulture? Or is it like a different Vulture?
Yeah,
so it is.
It's Michael Keaton. Yeah, it's Michael Keaton as Vulture. He's in the
That is
trailer.
really weird. Unless it's like it's supposed to be like a post thing.
No idea. But yeah, that's a thing. There's more
really strange.
And that brings up the question of, and there's a Spider-Man poster, I think, somewhere in the trailer. So Spider-Man exists in that universe, but which one? That's the question.
Yeah, which Spider-Man is it?
Andrew or Tom Holland? Or
I would say probably,
maybe Toby, but I don't think you're gonna get Toby back for all this stuff. Like, I think he did this because they paid him a boatload of money.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, let's get him in there. Probably here's your money."
Because I don't know what Toby's like these days, but he's notorious in the past for being kind of a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah,
like, I know this. Anybody watching this probably thinks I hate Tobey Maguire because I've just been like shitting on him the whole time, but I don't. Like, I do like Toby.
Yeah.
Anyone Toby fans out there, don't cancel the channel.
Yeah.
I do like Toby, but the rumors floating around when this was being done was that he was kind of what was holding things up because he was demanding outrageous sums of money.
I'm sure.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but it does line up with the fact that he's supposed to be notoriously difficult to work with.
Yeah, especially the way he is, at least persona wise, like at least with the rumor wise.
Right. And like, I don't know the guy, so I can't be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what he's like. He could just be a victim of bad publicity or something. I don't know. Because he doesn't get along with the paparazzi, but who the hell does? I mean, that's understandable.
Like fall around again.
Because there's lots of videos of him like screaming at paparazzi. And some paparazzi dude got like hit by a car or something. He's laughing.
Yeah, he's laughing at him. He got fully Maguired.
He got fully Maguired, but I have no sympathy for paparazzi, so like I can totally understand what Toby's reaction is for that.
Yeah,
that's fine. But yeah, so I don't know which Spider-Man they're gonna have, if they have a Spider-Man.
Unless the Spider-Man like is like a time traveler, like a multiverse traveler now.
Is like, what is that, Spider-Man 2099 or something? There is like a time traveling Spider-Man.
And I wonder if they're gonna are they gonna put Miles Morales in there too?
That's a possibility. We do get the first like reference to Miles Morales in this movie, because, and I don't think we addressed this. We did mention it early on. This is gonna be a long ass review, by the way.
Yeah.
We did mention this early on that all the Spider-Man villains show up because they know who Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But Electro didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So why is he there? Because he takes his mask off and he realizes it's Andrew Garfield, but then he's like, you're from Queens and you're helping people and you're wearing a mask. I always thought you were a black guy or whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought you'd be black. And then Andrew's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. He's like, but there's got to be a black Spider-Man somewhere. Like, that kind of thing. There's that hint that there's a Miles Morales.
And I wonder if that were to be the case, I wonder if Andrew Garfield would be like the mentor figure for Miles Morales.
Possibly. But then the other thing too, though, is that they've already addressed Miles Morales' uncle is in the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Because he's that guy that's like he's like carjacking or whatever.
Oh, the ice cream. He's like, I got ice cream in there, man.
Yeah, because he's talking about his nephew.
Yeah.
And that is like Aaron Davis or something like that. It's the name of the character. And that's Miles Morales' uncle.
Okay.
So if that continues, they change stuff in movies and comics and stuff all the time. But if that relationship stays the same, that means that somewhere out there already is a Miles Morales in the Tom Holland MCU universe. Just like a young kid,
like a young Miles Morales.
Yeah, he's probably like 10 years old or something at this point. So yeah, they could do that. So he could show up in either, he could pop up in the Sonyverse with Andrew Garfield or whatever, or he could be in
like the MCU. Like if Marvel wanted to be more like we want to have more control over this, we have our own Miles Morales.
And they retcon crap all the time too, because they retcon Spider-Man being in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Because that kid with the Iron Man helmet or whatever, that's supposed to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oh, was that supposed to be?
Yeah. That's obviously
Jeez.
bullshit. They obviously retconned that way after the fact.
So
But
Tom Holland grew up pretty quickly.
yeah, that's supposed to be Spider-Man. But the first No Way Home is, or not No Way Home, Homecoming
Homecoming
is weird anyway, because it's like set several years after it takes place to begin with.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it is kind of weird.
Like it's set a few years later, and then Endgame is also even later.
Yeah.
Like where we're at now, No Way Home takes place like in 2025 or something. So
it's like way in the, it's like in the future.
Yeah, because I think Endgame was like 2023 or 2024 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So it's like a little bit of a gap.
So it's probably in the same thing. It's catching up because COVID like shut down movies.
Yeah.
But like if we didn't have the pandemic, it still would have been like 5 years ahead or whatever.
Okay.
Now it's only a couple years ahead because real life kind of took a pause for a while.
Yeah. Real life happened.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the Sony movies going forward. I'm really interested in the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness.
Especially after this. If anything actually did come through, like not just Spider-Man villain or something else came through, like with this spell, like just tearing up the fabric of reality.
Right. Yeah, because I think the spell just opened the door, but the door was already there.
Yeah, it just got
because
wider since
I still think the Loki stuff is what started it in the first place.
Yeah. This is kind of like made it go further, I guess.
Yeah. More like drew attention to this universe or something.
Yeah, like, oh, what's that? All these villains are like, what's that over there?
So, because this is a pretty wild universe. Because, like you said, like Tom Holland says when all the Peters are talking or whatever, and he's trying to do teamwork, and they're all like, "I've never been in a team before." And then Toby's like, "Neither have I," which is a lie, by the way, because he fought with Harry Osborn to fight Venom and Sandman.
Oh yeah.
So he totally tag teamed. So he's a liar.
Yeah, he's a liar too.
They're all liars.
All Spider-Men are just liars.
Exactly. But Tom's like, I fought with the Avengers. And then Toby does have a great line here, though, where he's like, "That's great. I don't know what that is."
Yeah. Like, is that some sort of band?
Yeah. Andrew says that. He's like, "Are you in a band?"
Yeah, the Avengers?
But
Nobody
yeah,
knows what the Avengers are.
Nobody knows what the Avengers are, which means the Avengers only exist in the MCU universe, basically. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. So, yeah, they're going to draw stuff in. The thing that surprised me the most about the trailer is that it appears that they're bringing in the evil Doctor Strange from What If.
Yeah, I was thinking that they were talking about What If was actually like a lot more like
actually canon.
Yeah, actually, some things of that is like actually canon.
Because this is kind of the live action What If.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's better, because I was very mixed about What If. It was like,
I don't even think I saw it.
Yeah, I don't think you saw it, and I don't think I did a review for it, but I give it like a 6 out of 10. Like some episodes are really good, but then there's a lot that aren't, and the zombie episode was garbage.
Oh yeah.
So, in my opinion, because characterization was very poor. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But the thing I did really like about the What If was the Doctor Strange episode. That was one of my favorites. So to bring in evil alternate universe Doctor Strange, if it's that one, then that would be cool, because I didn't have a problem with that.
I guess that would make sense, because of all the characters, that would be the one that can like, kind of travel between multiverses and like, oh, I'm here now.
Right.
Let me go fight regular Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which happens in the What If movie show anyway. And evil Doctor Strange like defeated the good Doctor Strange. So yeah, it could be very interesting to see what happens with everything going forward, and also like future of Spider-Man and all that stuff, because it's definitely not ending with this. Not after Sony made over $1 billion in a pandemic year.
Yeah, during a pandemic, they're gonna be like, "Oh, let's make a new movie, Marvel. Come on."
Yeah. So
we've gotten some more movies to be made.
Yeah. Can make another 50 movies, Marvel. Come on.
We need to print more money.
Exactly. But you making movies like this, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I don't have a problem because that actually was pretty good.
This was definitely one of the best movies of the year, if not the best.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything
Now, what else came out this
even
year?
came close to this. The only movie that even came close to this, in my opinion, was Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Because that came out this year and that was great too. Like it had some problems. I got some nitpicks with that too, but like I think we gave that like a 9 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
When we did our review, and that's the same for this. It's like a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I do agree. 9.5 is probably where I would rate it too, because it's pretty good.
It's so close to being a 10. There's just minor nitpicks, mostly like story and stuff, but it doesn't really detract the quality of the film.
Yeah. The main points are really good.
Right. So yeah, I'd say this is an excellent movie. One of the best in the MCU, easily.
Yes.
Like definitely, I'd say like top 5 at least.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the MCU. The only thing I can think off the top of my head that I enjoyed more was maybe Infinity War. I thought
Infinity War, especially part 1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like part 1. I think this is better than Endgame. Because I thought Endgame kind of dropped the ball in a couple places.
Endgame, the biggest thing I always had a problem with is the Thanoses are different. They're not really the same Thanos anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, because Thanos, the characterization you brought with Thanos before you killed him is much different than the Thanos that came back. Like the Thanos, like the second Thanos is just like, I'm evil villain man.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's basically it.
He's like, I'm evil villain man.
Yeah. The first one actually had like a motivation. It's like, okay, we understand why he wants to do this.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I thought that was pretty big. That was a pretty big misstep because he basically threw away a character that was actually pretty well established.
Yeah, you're not really fighting Thanos. You're just fighting a dude that looks like Thanos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's what I thought. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I always think Infinity War was much better because
Infinity War is like flawless. That's like a 10 for me.
Yeah,
because that ending especially is like haunting.
Yeah, where it's just like silence.
It's just silence as everybody's just turning to dust.
Yeah, that's basically that one end. It's like it's like, I guess, iconic for movie history, I guess. That particular movie in particular.
And Endgame has iconic things too, like
like
Black Widow's death and stuff like that. But it didn't quite land. But that's not to say Endgame's bad.
Endgame's good. It's
still
not like
good.
It's a bad movie.
But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home is definitely in the top 5 for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good for Marvel movies. This is probably one of the better ones, I guess. Even though they were all good, it's not like
there's never been a terrible Marvel movie. Like as far as movies go, like some people are like, some Marvel movies are awful or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, you haven't actually watched a bad movie if you think Marvel movies.
If your only movies you're watching is Marvel movies, then you could probably see some movies that are probably a lot worse than that.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who like loves to watch like B horror movies and junk like that. Like I've seen like asylum film movies,
I've seen
crap
things.
like that. I've seen things.
I've seen things.
I've seen some shit, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Like Marvel's like masterpieces here.
Yeah, that's like that's like people that used to complain about the Star Wars prequels or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe compared to the original movies they're bad, but in the grand scheme of movies, they're pretty good.
You could have J.J. Abrams verse.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's over at DC now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's true. They took it.
That's the one thing Spider-Man's got going for it is it's not DC and it's not going to be victimized by Warner Brothers plans for their multiverse.
Yeah.
Which we won't talk about in this video because it's already gone on far too long.
Yeah.
That's a discussion in its own if the leaks are true.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I highly recommend Spider-Man No Way Home.
I do agree with that. That's a pretty good movie. If one of the movies you want to watch this year, this is probably one of them.
Yep. Yeah, that's
definitely. I would say
you
probably want to watch in the theater if you can, because it's very cinematic. Like, Marvel movies are always a cinematic thing.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the best of the year, without a doubt. And so that's going to do it. So if you like this video, hit like and subscribe, and you too could feel the strength welling within. See ya.
See ya.